Hey buddy, what's up? I'm Charles Stutely. Everybody knows about Pirates of the Caribbean. Jack Sparrow, Will Turner, and all those other great characters. But as everyone will agree, Pirates of the Caribbean is not the most realistic movie in the world. In fact, I would say it's one of the most unrealistic movies I've ever seen. However, today in this video I'm going to be exploring if Pirates of the Caribbean was realistic, who would survive? Starting with Bootstrap Bill, aka Will's dad. Let's face it, he wouldn't even be in the movie, because he would have died before the movie when they tied him to a cannon and sunk him in the ocean. Moving on to Norrington. In this hypothetical thing we're talking about, if the movie was realistic, Norrington would have survived because Will's dad would have been dead and so he couldn't have killed him, like he did in 3. So yes, Norrington survives. The third one is Elizabeth Swann. She survives all the movies while it's unrealistic. Of course she would survive if it was realistic. Number 4, the legendary Davy Jones. He would have survived the second movie, I'm pretty sure, but in the third movie, I think he got stabbed several times during the fight. And I don't just mean when they stabbed his heart, I mean the actual guy. Like when they would have stabbed him and then he was empty or whatever and they didn't hit his heart because it wasn't in him. That wouldn't have happened in real life. He would have gotten stabbed in the heart, and so no, he wouldn't have survived the third movie. Will Turner. Everyone knows Will Turner basically died in the end of 3, and so if Davy Jones had died when they'd stabbed him, which would be realistic, then Will Turner would have survived. So yes, and he wouldn't have had to become Davy Jones. The coconut head guy. I don't know his real name, but he's the guy who when they threw a coconut at his head on the island, then his head flew off. Pretty self-explanatory that if the movie was realistic, he wouldn't have had his head fly off. He survived the movie, but yes, he would have survived anyway if it was realistic. He just would have had a lump on his head, but it wouldn't have flown off. Barbossa. Obviously, since Barbossa died at the end of the first movie, you're probably thinking that I'm going to say no, he didn't survive. And you would be correct. However, it is not Jack Sparrow who would have killed him if the movie was realistic. It would have been Elizabeth Swann, like within the first half hour when she stabs him at the dinner. So Barbossa would have only been in like the first half of the movie if it was realistic. I'm guessing if it was realistic and they weren't ghost pirates, and Elizabeth would have killed Barbossa, and then all the other pirates on the ship probably would have killed each other while trying to decide who was in charge, and then Elizabeth would have taken over the ship and sailed home. Still could have been a movie. Jack Sparrow. He would have survived the first movie just fine, I'm pretty sure. Jack Sparrow was stabbed in the first movie, however that was by Barbossa, who we've already decided would not have survived that far into the movie. So, Jack Sparrow would have survived the first movie. If it was realistic, he still could have gotten eaten by the Kraken in the end of 2, so no, he doesn't survive, because in real life, nobody's gonna go find the edge of the world and go bring it back from Davy Jones's locker. The eyeball guy's friend. I don't know what his name is. You know, he's the friend of the guy whose eye keeps falling out because it's made of wood. At first I was thinking no, he wouldn't have survived because he got shot in the movie and he only survived because he was a ghost pirate. However, the guy who shot him was Barbossa, and that was after Elizabeth stabbed him. So, if the movie was realistic, the eyeball guy's friend would have survived just fine. Mr. Gibbs. Everybody likes Mr. Gibbs. He's nice, he's helpful. Probably one of the nicest characters in the series. He survived when the world was all crazy and unrealistic, so yes, he would definitely survive in a realistic world. Elizabeth's dad. Sadly, he would not have survived because I think it was just the East India Company or the English government or something that killed him. And so yeah, in real life that would have still happened. So sadly, no, he wouldn't have survived. Moving on. The two dumb British guys, you know who I mean, the guys who are guarding the ship and then they just start talking to him. I think they're in almost all the movies. Yeah, they survive all the movies with it being crazy, and yes, they survive with it not being crazy. Jack the Monkey. As far as I remember, Jack the Monkey didn't get killed during the first movie at all. During the second movie, he got shot by Jack Sparrow. He wouldn't have been an undead monkey, so he wouldn't have survived. The lady they were bringing the monkey to. The lady who gave Jack Sparrow the legendary jar of dirt we all know about. Yes, she would survive the movies because people don't turn into piles of crabs in real life. So yeah, she would survive just fine. The dog with the keys. The dog with the keys would most definitely survive in real life because he did survive in the unrealistic movie. So it would be easy to survive in real life. If you survive in the movie, you can survive in real life. Very unrealistic movies. So this is the final lineup of who actually would have been alive at the end of the series, if the movies were realistic. So as you can see from this list, if the movies were realistic, a lot would change. The pirates would not be putting back the gold in the first one, and they wouldn't be going after the heart of Davy Jones in the second one, and they wouldn't be going after the Fountain of Youth with mermaids in the fourth one, and they wouldn't have been going after Aquaman's magical pitchfork in the fifth one. As you can see, the movies would change a lot if we jumped into all that. However, for this video, all I'm changing is who would have survived if the movies were realistic. Thanks for watching. Be sure to comment below anything you would change about the movies if you had been making the movies. And if you want me to do another video about a movie, be sure to comment below which one. And if you want to suggest a movie for me to react to, be sure to do that in the comments also. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And remember, you matter, Jesus cares about you, and I'll see you guys again soon. Special thanks to the puppet designer and builder of Charles Stutely, Leaping Lemur Design. And feel free to comment any suggestions you might have for things for me to react to.